So very quickly, let's jump right to Dejan Vrljic. So he's a product expert for Mitrex, a manufacturer of solar panels and cladding, among other things. So what I wanted to hear from him was about, usually sustainable materials are a lot more or just more expensive than regular products. So Dejan's passion for renewable technology solutions is what led him to join Mitrex and our webinar today. And he will be talking about what's hot and new in solar energy solutions. So Dejan.
Thanks, Ingrid. All right, thanks everyone for joining us today. Happy Earth Day. So I'm really excited to introduce you all to Mitrex, who we are, what we're doing, and how we plan on changing the urban landscape moving forward. We as a company, we have a long history of over 25 years in the construction industry in facade design. We're a developer and manufacturer of a wide range of integrated solar solutions, such as cladding, solar windows, solar railings that are all cost-effective, rapidly manufactured with no design limitations. So let's get started. Our vision is the integration of solar technology into everything around us. And our mission is to be the catalyst that accelerates the adoption of sustainable and energy generating human-made structures. So taking a look at New York City in this picture here, and all the buildings that are currently basking in the light of the sun, all of these buildings not only use a lot of energy, but they don't produce any of their own. So humanity is currently constructing the equivalent of New York City globally every month to meet up with our population demands. Now, imagine if every new building could power itself rather than increase the burden on our traditional energy infrastructure. So we believe that rapid, low-cost, sustainable technology is not only viable, but it's the path forward for a brighter future for humanity. I think that we're all familiar with some of the pain points that can be associated with construction. Like we were saying, high-rise buildings could significantly contribute to energy consumption. Construction of them can be expensive and complicated, particularly when heavy machinery is involved, and building degradation can be an eyesore for neighborhoods. And then looking bigger picture, humanity is overly dependent on fossil fuels. Now, this isn't a North American problem or a European problem or an Asian problem. This is humanity's problem, and we all have to find a way to solve it, because fossil fuels are not only rapidly accelerating climate change, but they simply won't be around forever. Now, renewable energy has been around for a while, but its adoption has been hampered by three things. So poor aesthetics, high price, and slow production. Mitrex solves all of these problems, and we do it through integration. So if everybody thinks back to 15 years ago or so, and you'll remember people used to walk around with a cell phone in their pockets, maybe a digital camera, maybe an electronic pocket organizer. These were all basic products. They weren't solutions until this guy in a black turtleneck came along and he gave us this thing, an integrated solution. So this is how Mitrex sees ourselves as well. So we're not just construction, we're not just cladding or solar panels. We are all of these things and far more integrated together. So this presentation focuses on building integrated solar technology complemented by our cladding expertise. But because of advancements in PV technology, we're at a point where solar energy can be generated by every surface touched by the sun. And we as a company are moving towards serving all of the markets that you see on our roadmap there. Now, as I mentioned, we believe every surface touched by the sun can generate electricity, and our solar is suitable for each surface that you see in this picture on the left there. So we are the largest BIPV firm in the world in terms of capacity, standards, and market served. We have already invested heavily into R&D, approximately 150 million for developing our technology, and we're always looking for new ways to contribute to greener cities. So why not have solar stadiums or solar hospitals or solar sidewalks? Our desired city isn't just possible, it's necessary. And then if you think about the problems that I mentioned about renewable energy so far and look at the triangle on the right there, that's our way of thinking and at the core of everything we do. So solar buildings can and should be beautiful. Construction can and should be quick and easy, and a building owner shouldn't have to blow their budget to have a sustainable building. Now, looking at our technology has 3 layers. So starting with the solar rail, a solar cell is sandwiched in between 2 layers of customizable tempered glass. And for our cladding, a solar cell is sandwiched in between an aluminum honeycomb plate and a layer of completely customizable, UV stable, anti-soiling, fade resistant, and anti-reflective tempered glass. This design allows the cladding to be lightweight and incredibly strong, and it allows it to function as the exterior facade of the building as well as generating solar energy. So it is both the exterior facade and a solar panel at the same time. And we cover all 4 vertical walls. Now, this might be the slide that you've all been waiting for when I say, when you're wondering what I'm talking about here and what our cladding looks like. As I mentioned, our cladding is fully customizable, and we mean fully customizable. So we can adhere to any color pattern design, including brand colors and logos, giving clients and architects total flexibility. So in the past, architects have had to get really creative with how they integrate solar panels into a building design, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, because solar panels might not be the best looking material. Well, we've completely eliminated this hurdle. So our cladding works around the building design, not the other way around. And then as you see here, our solar rail comes again, like I said, in a variety of options in terms of color and transparency. Now, I'm no architect myself, but what I can tell you from this slide is that both our solar rail and our cladding can integrate into a building in a variety of ways, with all wiring being completely invisible. So depending on a building's design and needs, we work with the architect or the engineer to come up with different ways, including Z-clips or anchor plates or interlocking channels for the cladding to integrate into the design. And our cladding is a ventilated rain screen system. Now, like I mentioned, one of the best parts about Mitrex is that we seamlessly integrate into the building. So if somebody were to walk by a Mitrex building, they would have no idea that it's powering itself. All wiring is invisible, and we hardly take up any extra room in the building, typically sharing the same room as the utility. Now, in terms of LEED, Mitrex is able to help both new builds and retrofits get high levels of LEED certification. So our ventilated rain screen cladding system can achieve an R value of 25 or higher, depending on the owner's needs, improving both the thermal and acoustic comfort of the occupants inside. And our solar BIPV materials generate significant on-site energy that's renewable, as well as being completely recyclable. Now, when I talk about integration, our services are included in that integration. So from the moment a client sends us their plans and drawings, we can tell them exactly how much electricity a building will generate based on its location, its elevations, the color of cladding, future builds in the area, other shading in the area, etc. And we handle everything from the blue skin out as a company. So the blue skin, the insulation, which we do mineral insulation as well, I should add, the wiring, the cladding, the caulking, the setup of the system, we handle everything from A to Z. And because our system and services are comprehensive, clients only deal with us. Now, in terms of purchase options, we have 2, and each has their own philosophy, and with our goal being the accelerated adoption of solar, regardless of an end user's budget. Both include our turnkey service from the moment we get drawings until the cladding is completed. So looking at the Mitrex Power Agreement option first, or MPA, what we've done here is we found a way to allow building owners to introduce sustainable energy without having to blow their budget on the building. So we will sell the system to the owner at a below market price. And what I mean by below market is it will cost less than them cladding the building in traditional materials like precast or ACM. And then in turn, Mitrex owns the electricity being generated by the building over a 30-year contract, selling it back to the owner again at a below market price. So always at a lower cost than the utility. Now, a building owner might be thinking to themselves, well, that's great, but we'd much rather own the electricity being produced ourselves, in which case we would proceed with our direct purchase agreement. They would buy the system, spend a little bit more to own all of the electricity being generated, but then in turn, they would realize a higher ROI and the shorter payback period of the system. Just looking at a brief case analysis for one of our projects quickly first. So like I said, our MPA option has an instant payback period. So looking at 100,000 square feet of cladding in Ontario, so priced at approximately $65 per square foot for traditional materials like ACM or precast, Our MPA option is actually $20 per square foot cheaper than the average market price. So an owner would save $2 million on that project for 100,000 square feet of cladding going with the MPA option. And then they get all of the benefits of the rain screen system and the on-site renewable energy. Like I mentioned, for the DPA, it is a bit of a higher investment up front. So an additional $15 per square foot or $1.5 million in total. But then in turn, they would realize an ROI of 320% with a payback period of 9 years. Now, either way, either option is going to convert the building facade from a sunken cost into a passive revenue generator, while also offering the great ROI, the beautiful building design, and Mitrex full turnkey service. And now just switching gears briefly to our residential roof solar solutions. These are options that we have available currently for pre-order at our website. So the great thing about these products is that they're installed and function the exact same way as traditional solar panels, with the added benefit of having the same coating that we have on our cladding that allows them to be to have these different color options that you see here and to essentially be self-cleaning. So the anti-soiling coating that is on our high-rise products is the same on our solar residential. The output of these panels is approximately 400 watts per panel. And like I said, they function the exact same way as standard. So any properly licensed installer can install them. These are just some of the options that we are currently or soon to be offering. As I mentioned, we're constantly investing in R&D. We're always looking to introduce new products to the market that can contribute to greener cities. If I haven't mentioned it already, we're a proudly Canadian company. All of our products are manufactured in-house at our Toronto headquarters. Now, I like to end here. I've spoken a lot about why Mitrex makes financial sense, but we also do this because we're a purpose-driven company. We do want to make the world a better place. And I think the information on this slide and the impact of effective sustainable energy really speaks for itself. So looking at just your typical high-rise building over a 30-year period, with Mitrex Solar, it can actually produce the equivalent of 6 million trees being planted. All right, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.